Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Imagine standing at 14,000 feet, gazing across an endless sea of mountain peaks. The air is thin, the wind cuts like a knife, and somewhere hidden in those forbidding crags lies enough gold to make you wealthy beyond imagination. But first, you'll need to navigate terrain so treacherous that even modern vehicles struggle to pass, haul hundreds of pounds of equipment through narrow canyons and up sheer cliffs, and build a life where fire, isolation, and brutal winters constantly threaten your existence. This wasn't a survival challenge. This was everyday reality for thousands who flocked to Colorado during the great gold rushes of the 19th century. The towns they built still stand today, some thriving, some abandoned, and some vanished entirely, leaving behind only whispers of former glory. Welcome to the incredible story of Colorado's gold mining towns. The Rocky Mountains of Colorado are unlike any other mountain range in America. While neighboring states feature single mountain barriers where crossing the Continental Divide puts mountains behind you, Colorado presents a different challenge entirely. Here, mountains don't comprise one great range but a series of successive barriers extending 400 miles westward from the Great Plains. First-time travelers would wind through foothills to reach what appeared to be the towering divide, only to discover upon reaching the summit that range upon range extended westward as far as the eye could see. The pattern was relentless: descend one barrier only to climb another. This complex geography features 52 peaks exceeding 14,000 feet and hundreds more over 12,000 feet. The landscape is a maze of rugged mountains intersected by valleys, open parks, deep gorges, and narrow canyons. Even with modern highways, traversing these mountains remains difficult. The old abandoned roads feature grades considered intolerable by today's standards, and in many places, roads disappear entirely, requiring travelers to continue on foot. It was into this forbidding terrain that early prospectors ventured, armed with little more than courage, determination, and dreams of striking it rich. Without proper maps or guidance, these pioneers somehow found paths through challenging mountain terrain, discovering hidden pockets of gold tucked away in seemingly inaccessible locations. They established and maintained supply lines for necessities, transporting food, clothing, and heavy mining equipment through some of the most rugged terrain on the continent. Perhaps most impressive are the mine shaft houses still visible today, perched on seemingly unreachable crags. These structures were engineering feats accomplished under primitive conditions. Many were positioned in locations that required miners to navigate steep grades on roads now considered impossible by modern standards. Some mines were so remote they could only be reached by trails that disappeared into what locals called mountain fastnesses, areas so isolated and protected by natural barriers that they seemed designed to keep humans out. Yet somehow, these determined prospectors found ways to not just reach these places, but to work and sometimes live in them year-round. Colorado's mining settlements can be classified into 4 distinct categories. The first category includes living mining towns like Aspen and Fairplay. These communities originated as mining camps but evolved into permanent settlements that now depend on other industries. They maintain year-round populations and preserve some original structures, creating a blend of historical heritage and modern functionality. The second category comprises partially abandoned or partly ghost towns, such as Breckenridge and Telluride. These settlements feature many unoccupied original buildings alongside portions that remain inhabited. In some cases, mining remains the primary industry, making these towns living connections to their original purpose. True ghost towns make up the third category, with examples like Leavick near Fairplay and Bachelor near Creede. These locations are completely deserted but with original buildings still standing along streets. Bachelor, for instance, is identifiable by its rotting wooden sidewalks that mark what was once a bustling thoroughfare. The final category includes vanished towns like Stunner, Irwin, and Hamilton. In these cases, only the sites remain, with buildings long gone and locations identifiable only through historical records. Colorado mining history began with the initial gold rush of 1858 to 1859. The slogan, "Pikes Peak or Bust," became a popular rallying cry, drawing prospectors from across the country. The first successful strikes by prospectors Jackson, Gregory, and Russell established the initial mining operations, focusing primarily on stream beds in the eastern side of the Continental Divide. What followed was a series of cyclical mining booms occurring at approximately 10-year intervals from the 1860s through the early 1900s. Each cycle typically focused on different metal resources. The 1860s focused exclusively on gold extraction. By the 1870s, while gold remained the primary target, silver deposits were accidentally discovered. The 1880s and 1890s saw silver domination until its demonetization in 1893 created an economic catastrophe that nearly finished mining in Colorado. The industry was saved by the fortuitous timing of the Cripple Creek gold rush. Later periods saw the extraction of lead, zinc, various mineral concentrates, and fluorspar, demonstrating how the industry adapted to changing market demands through technological innovation. Mining settlements typically grew around single mines or mine groups, all producing one metal, often gold. These camps flourished until the ore played out, at which point miners departed, leaving towns dormant until later prospectors found traces of other metals. This cycle continued until the silver crash of 1893, after which many towns repurposed themselves as summer resorts or stock-raising centers. These economic fluctuations created dramatic demographic shifts, with communities expanding and contracting repeatedly. Some eventually became what one Silver Plume resident called dark towns, settlements where houses owned by summer tourists were occupied briefly during summer months but boarded up for the remaining 9 months of the year. Mining methods evolved alongside the settlements. Early techniques focused on placer mining using rockers and long toms to capture free gold from stream beds. This method was inefficient for recovering smaller particles and unable to identify valuable non-gold minerals. In California Gulch, miners cursed the heavy black sand clogging their sluice boxes, not realizing it was lead carbonate rich in silver, a valuable resource they were washing away in ignorance. The early 1860s represented peak placer mining years. By 1862 to 1863, most easily accessible gold had been discovered, necessitating more advanced techniques. This led to lode mining, which involves shaft sinking and mountain tunneling to follow veins deeper into mountains. Stamp mills were introduced to crush ore and free precious metals from worthless rock. As mining progressed, even more advanced extraction methods developed, including smelters for processing complex ores and chemical processes to separate minerals. Modern milling improvements eventually made it possible to rework old mine dumps for overlooked minerals and process low-grade ore concentrates. Ironically, many camps were deserted before their ores were truly exhausted, limited by the extraction technology of their time. Viable resources were often left behind simply because the methods to extract them efficiently didn't yet exist. The architectural evolution of mining settlements followed a predictable sequence. Initial structures were tents and log cabins, temporary shelters focused on basic survival. The second phase brought frame structures with dressed lumber, made possible by local sawmills. These buildings often featured imposing false fronts concealing one-story structures, creating an illusion of permanence despite primitive conditions. The final phase introduced brick and stone permanent structures, built only when a camp showed promise of long-term stability. Examples still visible today include the Fairplay Courthouse, Silver Plume Jail, and brick schoolhouses in Central City, Georgetown, Leadville, Lake City, and Telluride, all representing significant investment in community development. Architectural styles were heavily influenced by the miners' original homes. The predominant style was Victorian, often incorporating Greek Revival and Gothic elements. Towns like Black Hawk and Central City featured elaborate barge boards and gabled windows, while Georgetown displayed a distinctive New England transplant style with carved wooden posts and picket fences. Infrastructure development included wooden sidewalks, installed once a camp had enough streets and buildings to warrant such improvements. Surviving examples can still be found in St. Elmo, Nevadaville, Tin Cup, Lake City, Silverton, and Kokomo. Fire represented a constant threat to these predominantly wooden communities. Most towns experienced at least one major fire, with some like Cripple Creek, Victor, Creed, and Rosita suffering complete destruction. Gold Hill residents once took refuge in mine tunnels during a conflagration. Caribou was reduced to ashes on multiple occasions, with scarcely any traces remaining today. The cemeteries of mining towns tell their own compelling stories. Early grave markers were typically wooden with painted information. Over time, the thin boards weathered to a nondescript brown, but interestingly, the paint preserved the lettered areas, causing inscriptions to stand out in relief as surrounding wood deteriorated. Marble stones began appearing in the 1870s, first observed in the windswept cemetery at Caribou. A study of 30 mining town cemeteries revealed remarkable similarities in design across widely separated locations, with standardized memorial iconography despite geographic isolation. The inscriptions reflected Eastern cultural origins rather than regional influences, providing evidence of miners' original homes and cultural backgrounds. The mining towns of Colorado stand as monuments to human perseverance, ingenuity, and dreams. From living communities that have successfully reinvented themselves to ghost towns slowly returning to nature, each tells a story of boom and bust, hope and heartbreak. Join my Patreon community and discover my art print products on my website in the links provided in my description and link above. Also, if you would like a particular image from my videos, give the timestamp for image, and I will upload it to my website and Patreon. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest Gold story. Check out my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists on historical tales, legends, lost gold stories, and adult bedtime stories. If you like a certain image from my videos, tell me in comments and give timestamp. Happy trails. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.